Hey guys, it's your girl SolieSims and welcome once again to another speed build video, and this time we're doing things just a little bit different. I am testing out my hand at doing a non-conventional build for me. I decided that I needed to challenge myself within my interests in building in The Sims, and I noticed that I have been sticking to a certain type of house, a certain type of lot, a certain type of style, and I wanted to branch out of it. Also, I really suck at doing roofs, and I wanted to try my hand at doing different types of roofing styles. So this is my first attempt at that. I went on Pinterest, and guys, of course, Pinterest is like a font of inspiration. There's so much inspiration there, and I went on there. I saw several different house types with different architecture, different styles of roofing, and I decided that I'm going to try this particular build. Now I've started doing this voiceover, like this is my third time, and it's been a while since I put out videos, guys. It's not that it's a bit like riding a bicycle in that having to speak for a while. It doesn't feel forced or anything, but I find myself struggling sometimes to put my thought into words whilst I'm speaking about the build, or I stumble a lot more than I used to. And guys, I used to stumble so much at the beginning of all of the building stages when I just started doing videos, but I find that in the last month of not putting out stuff, I put out 2 videos prior and then this one, and I just find that I'm struggling to think of what it is. Like my last voiceover for this build went into 11 minutes, and this is a 20-minute video, and I had to just stop it because I didn't feel comfortable with what I was saying. It didn't feel genuine. It felt a little bit forced. I felt that I had to think too much before I actually said what I had to say. It just didn't flow as well as I wanted it to flow. Now, I did this build and I had a little bit of I don't want to say guru, but I want to say that as well, that term as well. My daughter came in sometime during the course of me building this, and it was late at night. We didn't finish, well, yeah, I say we because she was there with me most of the time, but I didn't finish that build until about 11 p.m. I just sat up after work because, working from home now, and I decided that I wanted to build. And I just sat there and I did this, and the build literally took about 3 hours of record time. But in between, I'm pausing and I'm talking, I'm laughing, and it was just so much fun doing this with her. She was being a little bit of a nuisance, but it was all deliberate. It was all to make me laugh. It was fun. It was good fun. She gave me pointers on my roofing, as well as what she thought about the open spaces, etc. Now, to get to the talk of the house itself, you guys will realize that it is mostly open space. There is literally not that much actual enclosed living space, and I think this is what drew me to this house, this build in the first place. The fact that it's just so open, and I felt that the island in Windenburg was the perfect place for it. I eventually did add a car to the lot, and yeah, they're on an island, a very tiny island, but that doesn't mean, guys, that they can't be ferried across back and forth, regardless of whether or not we can actually use vehicles in the game. I should have added a couple of bicycles too, maybe just, they might want to go biking around the island, but the island is small enough they can walk around. So anyway, I had an idea of I did the structure first, and whilst my daughter and I were speaking, I decided on the theme and I asked her what she thought, and she was like, okay, yes, go ahead. Initially, the the doors and windows I added were very, I think, Indian inspired. It looked very Indian to me, and I thought that I would have possibly gone that route in terms of decor. But then, excuse me, certain places, like I wanted to do a Zen garden. I wanted to implement some coolness in the build. And when I mean like a chilly type of cool, not a awesome, it thing kind of cool. So I decided to do a mixed type of style for the build. So it has influences, I think, I'm just going to say Asian influences in the decorating style, but it is still a modern type. It's not the traditional Asian style house. And I would like to think that the Sims who live here of mixed heritage, or maybe one of each in ethnicity, so they kind of married their cultures together, and being youthful, they embracing the modern style as well. So all of this, I think, is implemented into this build, and I chose the cool colors. I feel that it adds to the whole being out in nature type of feel. My daughter did say to me, the house is so open in that there are actually no completely enclosed rooms. Everywhere is open. There are no doors. There are, of course, the windows, but there are archways in everything. And the actual living space is, like I said, it's quite narrow. I think I said it. It's quite narrow. And I have an idea too that you don't really need all of the enclosed space for you to live. All you really need is a place for you to go do and shower, a place for you to lay your head at night, an enclosed space for you to do your work maybe, but can also lead into the outdoor space. And I think too, one of the reasons why I chose this as well is because having gone through this quarantine stage where you forced to stay indoors, it kind of feels good to bring nature in. You understand? Like, I didn't realize how much, I'm an introvert. I like to stay indoors, but it feels different when you're forced to stay indoors. Like, it's not really a choice. And I like to be able to, now I'm thinking about like going to the beach and doing all the things, and these are things that I never really had any interest in doing all the other times. So I think in this build, it's a perfect space. You really just need the space to sleep, to prepare your food, to take care of your needs, etc. But for the most part, just being in nature and bringing it out. Now I did a galley type kitchen, so I'm thinking, it's the stuff in there is not overly high tech, but it does have a lot of modern feel, but again with a Japanese inspired look to it. So there are a few touches here and there of Japanese inspired decor in the kitchen, throughout the whole house basically, but in the kitchen. And my daughter was advising me on what type of flooring and wallpaper I should use, because she loves that decorating aspect of everything. So she was giving me a bit of advice as to what to do, etc. What tones to use, etc. Especially when I was a little bit confused and I didn't know what to do, what to choose. So she helps with that. So I think that maybe I want to say that the female sim is the chef, but it can easily be flipped in that, because the roles that I have put in my head of the persons living there in terms of their careers, it's versatile, it's unisex. There is they both work from home, I would like to say, there is, I got one of the big cameras from the Moschino pack. I think it was the Moschino pack. So there is that one person who could be a wildlife photographer or nature photographer, or just, whatever photographer, but there is no photo studio. But it doesn't say that one space cannot be converted into a studio, or part of a studio. And there is enough space on that top of deck right here where I'm doing the outdoor living room, where you could implement a little studio or something on right there on the deck. Eventually, because I felt that the space, there was this big gap, but I didn't want to over crowd the space, I just centered everything in the end, so it's not like it's just on one side, because there's this big open empty space, and I hate to see empty spaces. Not that it's not bad in real life, but in the Sims it just always looks so extra empty, and it just doesn't. So I centered everything, and I made this particular area the study type area, the workspace, the workstation. So but in there I use like darker colors in the furnishings, with a bit of a bold touch. So I think it's mostly like black and red, and I thought of it as the guy working in there, because I feel like the space feels a little bit masculine, but again, that can always be changed by whomever who downloads the house. And it is a versatile space. It's kind of works either way for either person. And the colors, again, like I said, it can just change, but you can, the caress for there, it's just, you can just choose whatever. Now I'm going back to the topic of the space being so open. My daughter was saying to me that anybody can be robbed in there. I mean, anybody can just come in whilst you're out on a hike or out doing something. And I thought, I said to her, well, it's a good thing that we don't have robbers in Sims, don't we? So with no burglars in the Sims, I think it's just it works out fine, right? Also, then she said, what happens when it starts to rain? Won't all the furniture get wet? I said, well, we live in the Caribbean. We have outdoor furniture. We have patio furniture. When it starts to rain, what do? So it's just simple little conversation like that. It was fun. It was great. She of course, guys, we actually go in, take in our cushions, and then wipe down the furniture before we go back out again. But I just love that she was actually placing real life situations in the game. But it would have been fun to have like actual burglars, etc., and even firefighters. But I imagine they would have probably taken a longer time to come to the island than usual. So for the kitchen, guys, I did the kitchen twice. I eventually edited out the first kitchen that I did. I absolutely hated it. I mean, I did it, and at the time I was feeling it. It was a lot of lighter wood tones, but then to get cabinet space to actually match, it wasn't happening. It was really annoying me. So in the end, I redid it. I scrapped everything. I scrapped the floors, the walls, everything, and then I said I need to try to keep it within the theme that I had started. So whilst yes, it can still be a Japanese inspired space, you also need to have bring in a bit of the modern space, make it look like a kitchen somebody would actually want to come in and cook in. And that's what I did, and I was happy with it. In the end, I added some mirror in the backing on the wall, but I didn't realize that if I tried to add stuff, it would latch onto the wall and not onto the mirror. And I didn't want to go back and take off the walls. I mean, that's something that I could have done. I didn't even think about it, and then just place the stuff on it. So a good thing that I had the separated space from the refrigerator. Guys, I'm only now realizing this space has absolutely no bins in them, and I didn't put in a mailbox. So if you do happen to download the house and the mailbox is like somewhere in the middle of the house, I apologize because I completely forgot to put it. I really did. Also for the garbage bins, I guess you can place it in the back, down by the in the garage space. That would be a good space for a garbage, an outdoor bin, and you can figure out somewhere for the internal space. For the bedroom, I again went with some Japanese inspired living spaces. I love this. I wish this particular divider was in an individual swatch. I think that would have worked out so beautifully, but alas, it was not to be done, and that's okay. So I had to do a workaround, and I think in all it turned out pretty okay. It looks pretty good, and again I left the space as simple as possible. There are basically no wall curtains. Oh my gosh, how could I have forgotten that word? There are absolutely almost no curtains, except, guys, to cover up the entrance to the bathroom, which is pretty much just a space in the wall where you go do your business. Now, I did not play test this game because I did not have a sim on that lot. I just did this in build mode. It may or may not be functional, and of course you can, the bathroom wouldn't be. I think I left enough space in between for everything so that everything else can be functional, but I'm not so sure for the bathroom. So guys, you can check it out. And because to the curtain, I think where I placed the curtain just in front of the shower, I had it like with the intention that it can be drawn over to close onto the other side. So I think it's pretty easy enough to be able to do a workaround with the shower, etc. But it, like I said, guys, it should work, but we will see how it all comes together when I actually go into play, but not this time, not on video. Yeah, so I think that my least favorite space though is the bathroom, because it doesn't look like it has much of, like, it just doesn't. If you know what I mean. But all in all, it looks good. I think it looks good. It blends in with the space. I had some trouble trying to find a curtain that I actually wanted to use that I felt would go well, but it worked. We're approaching the end almost. It's just a matter now of me doing just the outside walkway area and then the roof top. And like I said, that's probably one of the simplest spaces that I have right now, is the top of the roof. I'm not sure if I mentioned it about the open spaces, in that certain places don't have railings, and not just the stairs. If I didn't, I apologize. I like I said, I did this voiceover like 3 times. I may have mentioned it, but I only put like railings or full railings on the top part of the roof because, well, it is that the roof, right? And just to give it a more complete look. But then there are some areas like that platform there by the bedroom where the yoga can be done is enclosed with pots and etc. Not that the Sims will actually fall through, but people like a little bit of realism in the gameplay, and that's something that my daughter brought to my attention. And so I did some enclosed spaces and putting certain things in certain strategic spaces. But I'm assuming that this couple definitely doesn't have kids, probably don't have plans to have kids or anything like that. And out of my comfort zone, again, I put in a lot of hobby items. I shouldn't say comfort zone, it's just something that I don't usually do. I don't usually put in skill building items in the houses because I don't really have an idea of the type of sim. I know who I'm building it for, but I like to have the persons downloading the build have put their own influences in there, and here on the screenshot. So there's several skill building items in there. I took various pictures at different times of the day, from morning all the way down to night, just so you guys can see the actual different looks, because I think it just looks so pretty. I love how everything looked in terms of the lighting. It just says yes. I love it. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this build. I know, like I said, it's just different from what I'm used to doing, but I would love to get feedback from you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are, and be sure to leave a like, be sure to leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe. And I know I'm saying this all the way at the end of the video. I'm hoping that you have been staying till the end of the video. Be sure to subscribe, guys, if you haven't as yet, and I will see you again in my next video, whatever it is. Bye.